This Morning Giggle.
Welcome back to Morning Giggle. I'm Riley.
I'm Chandler.
And this is Morning Giggle.
Oh, we ate that.
And Carter, this is when you add like a theme song.
Carter, insert theme song here. Yeah. Morning Giggles.
So this is our second podcast. We recorded this one last week on Tuesday. It is now the next week on Tuesday.
It sure is.
So, and again, one day we'll have like proper equipment to do this.
We will. Like, girl, maybe we'll be in like a studio or something.
No, because I think that we could do that one day when we have money.
We're
currently super poor college students.
Very broke. Yeah.
So that's why I think people could relate.
You're getting voice memos.
You're getting voice memos right now. Unfortunately.
Last week, I was like so down bad. I sounded like so bass. I was giving so bass.
You were giving bass last week.
This week, I'm giving gay. I'm giving gay. I'm giving so... I'm giving so gay. So, turns out... we didn't know it then, but I had an upper respiratory infection. I also had a stomach infection. But we're fine now, Bessie. We're fine.
No, we're doing really well.
We're good. We're like peak health. Like my body is a pyramid, like giving peak health.
Doing the basic needs first and then working our way up.
Eating veggies and fruits. A little cowboy
We had caviar.
Girl. A couple days ago, we were like, we need to have a potluck. We
were.
And
I think that would be super fun if we had all of our friends over and we all like made something for dinner. Like someone made a salad, someone made an entree, someone had a side, someone had dessert. Like, and
we just made a whole meal out of it. But here's the tea, y'all. Our friends suck.
And everyone is super lazy.
No, literally. Nobody wants to do...
Yeah. Including
us. But nobody wants to do shit. And so we said, you know, we're going to take it. We're just going to, us two. We're going to do a little cowboy caviar moment. And so that's what we did.
So we went to the store and we made cowboy caviar. We snacked on that for a minute.
And we got home, bitch, we got right to it.
No, we walked in the door. I started chopping out my peppers immediately.
I was cutting up that avocado, girl.
That onion, I was not about to touch that onion.
Yeah, the onion made me cry. It did. I'm a pussy. It made me cry.
But then it was really good, and it was a good snack.
No, it was good. We fully, sat at the dining room table and ate that cowboy caviar up.
And it was going to be my meal for the day. But then, guess what I did? I made Chandler drive me to get a slice of pizza.
She did. Oh, my God.
I was like, what if we did?
And the irony of it all was, literally, an hour before we were like, you know what? We're still good because we're doing good about our eating habits. And we're like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm not hungry. I'm bored. I'm not hungry. So I'm not going to get a slice of pizza, even though I want one really bad. But we did end up at Hotbox. We did.
And then we went to Hotbox, and I was like, 2 slices of pepperoni. And the girl at the counter was like, yeah. And I was like, what's wrong? And, I didn't know what was going on. And then we were hanging out for a minute, and we went outside, came back inside, and Chandler asked the girl, she was like, how long will it take? 15 minutes? She goes, well, it has to take under 10 because we close in 10 minutes.
And we were like, oh.
Because they usually close at 3, 4 a.m.
No, we're used to them closing super late.
So I just assumed that they would be open. And I feel like the biggest bitch in the world.
Not tonight.
I feel so rude because if I would have known that they were closed in 15 minutes or 20 minutes from when we got there, I would have not ordered because that sucks.
As bitches who have done that gig, who have done food service, retail, we know. Girl, when it's time to close, when it's closing shift, bitch, it's time to fucking close. I used to close at 7 o'clock. We don't close till 11. So I get why she was a little upset.
I felt so bad. Oh, it's not charged. Sorry, guys.
Phone not charged. But it was just a lot. We did feel bad.
Oh, I fully tipped her too. I put the rest of my money in the tip jar because I was like, I feel like the rudest person. Because am not that person, and I felt terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told us, and I was like, oh, I forgot it was a Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. It literally only Tuesday, guys. I don't know when y'all are hearing this, but it's Tuesday for us.
It's a Tuesday in April, and
so,
it's just...
really, we had no business being at Hotbox on a Tuesday at midnight, but we were there.
But guess who was there? Us.
But that's why, like, we were saying, like, sometimes food is, like, you don't want to just eat when you're bored, but sometimes you just do it, girl. Like, sometimes you be, like, sitting there in bed, you be like, you know what? I ain't even hungry, but I'm bored, so I want to eat.
No, my relationship with food is super odd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hard to navigate because some days I will eat super well and, like, when I'm supposed to eat. Other days I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't eat it at all.
Yeah, and that's, like, one of the things that, for you bitches with a fucking meal plan, or you bitches in high school you don't get, is once you get on your own and you have to, like, buy your own groceries and stuff, it's way harder.
It's because it's one, I will either be in an era where I'm like, okay, I'm eating the groceries that I have, which I've tried so hard to be this week. It's only Tuesday, and I already broke it. I already broke it because I really wanted a hot box. But I've been trying to eat, like, I'll have leftovers because, thank goodness, my parents came up this weekend and took me out to lunch after my show. They took me to lunch, so I had leftovers from that. And then I ate that all today, or Monday. And then today I was like, oh, I'm fine. And I woke up and I don't remember what I had. Like, I had some mozzarella cheese and a clementine.
Ooh,
today.
Good meal.
Yeah. I love my little, you know the mozzarella we were talking about at the store? It starts with a B.
It's like a ball of mozzarella.
Yeah. They also come in like a 3-pack. You know, the 3 little balls.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I got that Saturday. The whole thing is gone.
No, understandable.
It came in a pack of 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're all gone.
No, I get that. I got that, like, big ass ball, like the 1-pack, and I made homemade vodka sauce.
Ooh,
because I'm
yummy.
a little Italian. So I made homemade vodka sauce, and then I threw like a third of that ball of mozzarella in there, girl. It was so good.
Let me tell you something.
It was so good. Okay, tell me, girl. Okay. Tell me, girl.
I like to do, my favorite kind of pasta is rigatoni.
Ooh, I love
rigatoni. So I'll cook up my pasta. I will do store-bought Alfredo sauce.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting choice.
Just because I don't want to make it myself, and it cost, like, if I bought heavy whipping cream, it'd be extra money.
No, yeah, it would be a lot.
So I will go in, and then I'll put a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of parsley, a couple shakes of red pepper and garlic in that sauce. While it's on, I cook it on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it. I heat it up in the microwave. I'm cooking it on the stove.
Okay.
I throw in a couple tablespoons of ricotta cheese.
Oh, ricotta.
I'll talk to you about ricotta in a second.
All right.
Because I have another thing that you would like. And then I put in a little mozzarella, stir it up, and then I put lemon juice on my pasta. Lemon or lime on my pasta, and then put a little bit of sauce over that.
Okay.
And it just makes it a tiny bit better.
No, that's a good
because these are all things that I have at home, typically, that I can make something good out of. Because the homemade Alfredo sauce, or not the homemade, the store-bought Alfredo sauce, not the best. It'll do at a pinch.
Right.
But, like, I need a little something else.
You need to add a little seasoning and a little,
Oh, for sure, seasoning. But, like, the ricotta, this is my ricotta recipe. A piece of sourdough bread, specifically the Aldi kind.
I love sourdough, yeah.
I put Aldi. Like 2 or 3 teaspoons. I just take a spoon and put a few chunks of ricotta on it.
Ooh.
Smear it out a little bit so it's just covering all of it, but, like, there's still the chunks. Take red pepper flakes, put it in the air fryer for 5 minutes.
Okay. Little air fryer moment.
And it's fire.
No, that sounds good.
That does sound good. And ricotta is one of the most healthy cheeses you can eat.
Oh.
Because it has a lot of protein in it.
Yeah.
It's like cottage cheese is really good for you too.
Oof,
but, like,
ew.
I love cottage cheese.
No,
but, like, ricotta cheese.
Ew.
Okay.
Ew. Fully, when we were at Golden Corral, girl, she tried to get cottage cheese. I said no.
Golden Corral's a whole second we had to talk about,
yeah.
That's a whole second we got to talk about.
We talked about it last episode, but...
Did we?
I think so. Yeah,
I don't
we
remember.
talked about that, but that is a full...
But
full segment.
Yeah, the whole idea behind that.
Yeah.
But I love ricotta cheese, and eating like a spoonful is a lot of protein.
That's where we differ, bestie. Like, ricotta cheese is in lasagna.
It is.
And don't get me wrong, I love lasagna, but I hate ricotta cheese. I think ricotta cheese is only good on lasagna, and I don't want it on nothing else.
Have you ever been to Giacomo's?
The pizza place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have this pizza.
Ooh.
It's called Cheese Louise.
Cheese Louise.
Yeah. And their sauce is a little bit of a chunkier kind of sauce.
Okay.
So I'm not, like, super big on Giacomo's, just because I don't like tomato all that much.
Yeah.
But they put a bunch of cheese on it, and then they have red onions and, like, chunks of ricotta cheese on it. Ooh. And bacon.
Ooh.
It's so yummy. Speaking of pizza, let me move on to the next pizza I like. You've probably never been, but to Mozzie's, it's only...
No, I've been there.
Okay. They have this pizza, it's called baked potato pizza.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it?
I've had the one from Cousin Vinny's, not at Mozzie's.
I have not had the Cousin Vinny's.
The one from Cousin Vinny's is so
Cousin
fire, girl.
Cousin Vinny's is like one of my favorite pizza
Fully
places.
like baked potato, made into a pizza, so good.
Like the sauce is their nacho cheese and ranch mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, because I'm not big on tomato sauce, unless I'm like eating a pizza.
Yeah.
So they have that. And then the cheese on top, and then they have chunks, like quarters of potatoes.
Ooh.
And then bacon, cheese on it. And then they give you a choice to dip it in ranch or sour cream.
Oh, fire.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Fully, this is not sponsored, y'all. We are broke.
We're just hungry.
If you want No, literally so bad.
We're just food, like at our core, we're foodies.
No, for real. This is a food podcast.
It's food review.
Food reviews. No, but I love a good slice of pizza. But here's the thing, like, I'm not picky. Like, I will fully take a slice of pizza from the gas station. Like, I do not mind.
I just am not super big. If I don't like tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Unless it's on a pizza. But even then, I'm super picky. Like Papa John's, their tomato sauce is sweeter than others.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Like, I love Papa John's pizza because they put a lot of cheese on it.
And their crust, fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not down for all the sweet sauce.
No, it's too much. Yeah, I get that.
So I'm very particular. Oh my gosh, another pizza place. Have you ever been to The Ordinary?
No. I'm not.
Okay.
Where is that?
It's in Wanamaker.
Wanamaker. No, I've never been there.
They have, it's like really good pizza. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But they have toppings, I'm not kidding you, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick.
Ooh.
Like, if you get their, like, Supreme pizza, it has, like, ham, pepperoni, black olives, peppers, onions. I forget the other toppings. But they have everything. Like, mushrooms. It's so good. And one piece is, like, this bit, like, huge. And it'll fill you. One piece is enough. It's so good.
No, I gotta go there. That sounds good.
It's super good. But it's just expensive.
Yeah.
But food is just a tricky subject to talk about.
No, it is.
Especially, like, growing up, my family never ate healthy, like, super healthy. I talked to my mom about this, actually, before. And I was just, like, growing up, we, like, never had vegetables. And my mom was like, oh, that's because, like, when you were a kid, you would try a vegetable and you wouldn't like it, so I wasn't going to force you to eat it. I would, like, just make you eat what you ate.
Yeah.
Because that was easier than fighting with a kid. And I get that. I totally get that, 100%. But then I had such unhealthy eating habits because my parents, like, were skinny as kids and young adults, so they just kind of ate whatever they wanted. So then I followed in their footsteps, and then I was, like, a fat kid.
And you were like, what? The math ain't mathing.
Not at all. The math still doesn't math because they were skinny as teenagers and young adults. I'm like, And I was just a fat kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's not like I would eat like a super like crazy amount of food. Just the foods that I ate, I think that were super unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And also being poor didn't help with that.
Yeah. No, 100%. When I was poor, I'm just kidding. When I was little, like, fully, like, we would strip the pantry dry on what was left. And there was one time, and I remember we were, like, literally poor as a poor, and we had angel hair pasta with every meal. Like, we'd have Alfredo, we had tomato paste and angel hair, like fully, like, the worst of the worst. I won't say the worst. There's definitely worser than that.
But like lower middle class vibes.
No, like, but for me at that time, I was just like, damn, this is bad. And so I cannot bring myself to eat angel hair pasta anymore. I think it's disgusting.
There's some foods that
But it's just like, when you grow up from a family that doesn't have that much money, like, there's meals like that where you're just like, that is a lot. I can't do that anymore.
And it's never like my family was like super struggling. Like, my parents
like,
were
I always had food on the table.
Oh,
I never had a night where I was
never like missed a meal. Exactly. I never was hungry.
Right.
I always had everything I need.
Yeah.
But my parents just didn't have the extra money to like buy me an elaborate meal, to have like a little salad, to have...
Right, and like you said, like, I was a kid who didn't like vegetables.
Exactly.
And so my mom was like, I'm not going to buy these vegetables that these kids aren't going to fucking eat.
Especially if you're wasting your money on vegetables and like trying to, like, try this. No. Why would you waste your money on that?
No. Like fucking spaghetti squash. Girl.
Girl, you think I'm about to feed my 2-year-old?
Spaghetti squash?
Yeah, exactly.
No, fuck that. So my mom didn't get that shit, so we didn't eat it. And so, like, naturally, Bessie didn't eat vegetables. Naturally, Bessie gained a little weight. Exactly. I love veggies now, but back then
I didn't know.
I did not.
I think I was stubborn as a kid, so I think that was part of it.
Definitely.
Like, I just would be like, nah, I'm not.
Yeah. No, I was picky eater.
And I was super picky. Now as an adult, I'm like, I love pretty much all vegetables, I will eat it. Yeah. And I'm not picky about what I have to eat. But back then, I was like, no. And you know how kids are. Like, my niece and nephew now, they like have money, and my parents are able to help too. So it's like, they have, like, access, but they're just like, no. And they want the same thing every day. Yeah. Which is, like, I get why, like, as a kid, my mom would make this chicken and cheese and rice casserole. Mm-hmm. And we would have that, like, 2 times a week. I don't know how often. I don't remember childhood. Okay. A lot of my childhood is, like, gone from my memory.
My child, like, we ate, like, jambalaya from the box, like, fully, like,
hamburger
rice,
helper,
green beans, sausage. Hamburger helper was a big one.
It was a big one, and I would cry every time.
Buttered noodles if we were really going through it.
Buttered bread. We would not even toast it.
No.
We would just have buttered bread as kids.
We didn't have no garlic toast. No, Texas toast. Fuck a Texas toast.
We would just have potato bread.
Mm-hmm. Potato.
Have you ever had potato bread?
No.
It's like a cheap type. They still have it now, but it's like the Mrs. something with, you know, the one with like it looks like an Amish lady on it. That bread brand.
No.
I'll show you.
Okay.
But they had that lady, and there's a potato bread, and it's just like, it's fire, and it was a cheaper type of bread.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure it's cheaper.
And we would have that, like, just buttered bread with our meal. We wouldn't even toast it, which is really funny. I don't know why that was like a thing.
Fully like raw bread.
Raw bread with country crock butter.
Not country crotch.
The fake margarine on it. Yeah, we would have that. And it was like I never struggled, and
at the time it didn't feel like anything. It was just like, that's what we eat.
Yeah.
And my friends would be like, oh yeah, like we went out to like fucking Ruby Tuesday last night, and I'm like, okay.
No, my friends would have like, well, luckily for me, I was friends with a lot of people that were in similar financial situations. Mm-hmm. My sister, however, she was friends with a bunch of rich kids.
And that's why you don't fucking do that as a poor kid.
No,
if you're poor, don't make friends with a bunch of rich bitches. If they're having shrimp and fucking steak every other night, and you're having jambalaya
and we're having hamburger helper,
like, don't hurt your own feelings.
Like, and I don't know that it ever bothered my sister, but I think it bothered my parents.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think...
No, 100%. Yeah.
Because I don't think that we were never we were never poor, like dirt poor. We always were taken care of.
Yeah.
Nothing. We were never missing out on anything.
Yeah.
But I think that my parents saw my sister's friends, like, they would live in, like, these huge houses in the rich neighborhoods and get everything they want. Yes. And especially if, like, Christmas time and birthdays, they would get whatever they want. And we would have, like, my parents would, like, cap it at a certain amount they would spend on us. And, like, I don't think that's something that should be, like, I feel bad for my parents now as an adult, because as a kid I didn't recognize. Yeah. But as an adult, I'm like, I feel bad that my parents ever felt bad about that, because I had everything I could want and need. I think
similarly, like, I didn't have friends, like, my close friends were not people who were very far off from my economic,
same.
you know. But my sister, for sure, is friends with people, like, one of my sister's friends has, like, a chef who makes them dinner every night.
Whoa.
No, fully.
That's wild.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm so happy that you have those besties and you can go on vacation with those besties.
No, but my sister too. Sister too.
And you can live, you know, that fake life. But just like, know that when you come home, girl, it is not like that. Girl, you were gonna fucking eat jambalaya and hamburger helper, and that's okay. And it's not like that anymore. Like, my mom is married now. Like, they have money because there's not as many kids at home.
Yeah.
But it is still like, you know, you can't expect to come home to a fucking private chef.
To a steak.
No.
To, like, steak and potatoes.
And, like, fucking, I want it medium rare. Like, no,
like,
you're not gonna get
you're getting
that.
it how it's made, and that's it.
Right.
You're getting your hot dog and hamburger on the grill it's made.
We have white people taco night for Easter, and you're gonna fucking like it. like,
no, that's my favorite fact about you.
This year for Easter, when we're recording this, Easter is this weekend. My stepdad has had crab legs in the freezer for many months, and he said, we're going to have white people taco night with crab legs.
Then that's a good balance.
And that's fire to me. Girl, I love a good crab leg, and I love a good white people taco night.
You know, I love a white people taco night. Like, that's the white girl in me.
Yeah.
But it's, my mom makes such good chicken tacos. Mm-hmm. I always prefer chicken over beef. I don't like beef that much. So that's why hamburger helper scarred me as a kid. Because I don't.
Because it's all. Because
I don't like beef, and it's the cheapest one.
1 pound of beef, add milk,
add cheese.
Not
like,
even cheese.
Not
add
even
the cheese powder.
Yeah, add, like, garlic seasoning if you have it, salt and pepper. Right. I just don't like beef all that much.
And that's no shade to Hamburger Helper, because she got the job done.
She did it. It fed us, and we were fine. Yeah. I just complained about it, because I was just a little dumb girl.
Right.
I was just, like, 6 years old and crying, like, Mom!
Hamburger Helper again.
And then being like, pork chops. When my mom makes pork chops, I would throw a fit.
Pork chops.
I would throw a fit when my mom made pork chops.
Girl, I don't think I can eat pork chops nowadays.
There's my grandpa.
I've tried to make them now for, like, a little nostalgic. No, I can't do it. No pork chops.
My mom, if you're ever listening to this, I'm sorry. You're not a good cook. It's just, specifically with pork chops. Like, there's certain meals
just meat.
Like, babe, your nachos, fire. But, like, your nacho dip that you make, oh my gosh, love. But your pork chops, I don't like, because they were always so dry. And maybe, I don't know the cut. I've never made a pork chop, because I probably never will, and I hate them. But as a kid, I would, like, choke it down. Yeah. I'd be like, can I get some ranch?
I fucking chug water while I was drinking.
It would be the 2% milk.
No. Not milk. No, I be chugging my water, trying to fucking scarf them pork chops down. Shit dry as hell.
No, my papa makes them they're juicy, and they have,
a juicy pork chop. Never experienced.
My papa makes them good.
Ooh.
But my papa also sometimes doesn't make food till the full, like, cookedness. Like,
a little raw.
Yeah, a little raw.
Not like bad raw, but just like
some foods have been a little.
Some bad.
Like, when as of late, when he's been making hamburgers, they're a little raw. When he makes eggs, he makes his eggs a little too raw for my liking.
A little too runny.
Yeah.
A little yolk.
Like, even when they're scrambled.
Ooh.
A little too.
How you gonna have?
I don't know. It's Papa time.
Yeah.
But
come on, Papa.
He makes good pork chop, and they have like thyme on it, like different seasoning. It's always been super good.
Yeah, but just a little longer on the griddle. A little longer,
but like, no, not even, that's fine. Everything else is like, no.
Yeah.
But my mom's pork chops were so dry as a kid, and I don't like ketchup. I don't like A1. Yeah. I don't like sauce unless it's ranch. So it's like you
just have to fucking literally
eat
sand, eat sand, eat sand.
No, and I would throw a fit, and I feel so bad because that's what we had. And I feel, because that's frustrating when you have to make dinner and people complain about it. Like, shut up.
100%.
Get a grip and eat it.
I, for Mother's Day, I made beef stroganoff for my family. Shit was fire. It is technically still a broke meal because all you have to do is go to Aldi and spend $5 for the chopped beef liver or whatever. But it was good and my family liked it. And it wasn't something that we had as a kid, but it was definitely a broke meal that I've learned in college. Girl, pro tip for you college besties, get an Instant Pot because that shit will save you tons of money because you throw all that shit in there. You spend $10 on a meal, whatever. Beef stroganoff, for example. You spend $10, and then you have a whole meal for the week. Because you're feeding fucking 8, and it's just you.
Okay. No, I never did that.
No, it's good.
Another thing, broke meal, I would have the green beans, potatoes cut up in little squares.
Girl,
and then
I know this one.
A hot dog. A hot dog.
Girl, we had Italian sausage.
Okay, we would not always have that.
That's okay. No, that's okay.
Sometimes it would just be Oscar Mayer wieners.
Okay, Oscar Mayer. Come on, Oscar Mayer.
Like, obviously, it's better with
wiener.
As a kid, it would be Oscar Mayer wiener. Yeah. But, like, now when my mom makes it, I'm just like, that's really good.
No, that's okay. That was fire to me back in the day.
Oh, so. It's good. I've made it here.
No, I liked it.
And hash brown casserole, another cheat meal.
Ooh, yeah. And it's just one of those, like, sometimes, like, you have to respect the struggle.
No, it's humbling.
As someone in college, also, like, struggling for money, I will throw a broke meal down. And I'll fucking serve, bitch. That shit will be fire as fuck.
It's super interesting to see the people that come from money try to balance their money here. Especially if they don't...
The bitches who only shop at Target for their groceries.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you... I've shopped at Target, like, 2 or 3 times.
Like, to get, like, a few... You go to Target for, like, a few things, maybe. I go to Aldi for most of my things, and then I'll go to Payless, like, for my cheese, for my meat, you know. But, like, the bitches who will just go to Target and then get their whole grocery... Like, what? Did your parents do that?
So the man that I just was talking to, let's call him John.
Come on, John.
So, John would shop exclusively at Target.
Come on, Long John Silver's.
He would shop exclusively at Target.
No, that's an ick to me.
And that was fine because I went grocery shopping with him a couple times and helped him, like, get his stuff. And then I'd be like, I need to get groceries. And then he'd be like, let's go to Target. I'm like, I can't. Like, let's go to Aldi.
Are we talking about McDonald's?
Yep.
Oh, per.
And then I'd be like, I can't. Like, do you know that's more money? And he was like, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. So then he'd be like, can we go to Meijer at least? Like, he wouldn't...
Meijer!
And Meijer's, like, this pretty much the same.
It's not as bad as, like, some of these other bitches, but, like, it's still not good.
It's still, like, Walmart's still cheaper, Aldi is still cheaper.
Right.
It's less expensive than Target, and it has more stuff. So, I went there with him a couple times. Oh, my gosh. I was just, like, the stuff that he was willing to spend money on.
Yeah.
And, like, he would have to get, like, today when we were getting stuff for Cowboy Caviar... We got Kroger brand. He would have to get...
For real?
He would get name brand everything.
No.
And I was like, are you kidding me?
No, for real. And bitches who go in there and, like, go to the deli and get, like, the exclusive collection salami. Like, fuck off.
Can you cut me some
literally,
American
can you cut
cheese?
me a pound of American cheese?
Can you cut me some white American cheese? Shut up.
You don't fucking go and get you your fucking Kraft singles.
Kraft singles or, like, literally, like, the Meijer, Target, Walmart brand, Great Value brand of cheese.
Right.
Come on.
I know this is a niche subject to you all, but, like, if you came from the struggle, girl, you know the struggle. Like, you don't do that shit.
It's also super... One time, I have this vivid memory. My aunt... She, like, was watching my sister and I, and she had us pick out, like, our lunch that day so we could get, like, whatever kind of meat we wanted, whatever, because we were making sandwiches. And I specifically got, like, off-brand stuff. Mm-hmm. My sister got the most expensive stuff, and she told my parents that I remember that in my brain. She was like, it was really funny because Riley got, like, all these off-brands. Like, Rachel, she got, like, name brand everything. And was trying to spend, like, an insane amount of money, but you were like, no.
My first little time, like, having my first apartment, like, I tried to do the whole name brand,
Ugh.
like, just stock my little stock my little cabinet on, like, stuff that I knew wasn't, off-brand stuff. And it's just, like, maybe it's just, like, growing up poor where you recognize these things, but it's just not worth it.
No.
To get things that aren't name brand. Like,
Yeah.
girl, you don't need name brand black beans. It's
Yeah.
the same, bitch,
It's the same
black
thing.
beans.
Like, some things are definitely worth it.
Cheese, meat.
Like, well, that, I'm fine with getting off-brand meat and cheese. But, like, Oreos, I'm never about to buy the off-brand Oreo. I'm not about to do that.
Cereal, too. Like, that's one thing. Girl, I'm gonna get my, what's that brand called? Multigrain, whatever the fuck. I'm gonna get my fucking name brand Fruit Loops.
Yeah, Kellogg's, come on. Like, there's some things that are worth 100% buying the name brand for. But then there's, like, I can get, like, Kroger brand of Swiss cheese, or I can get the one that starts with an S, Sargino's, or whatever it's called. Yeah. And get that. And it's, like, $1.50 difference. Of course I'm getting the Kroger brand.
And if you have something that you're gonna make, like, I make black people mac and cheese all the time, and I can't do Aldi, like, cheese for that. Yeah. Like, I have to get real cheese. Yeah. I have to shred it. I have to, do the damn thing. But that's because that's what I'm gonna do, But there's some things that you just
like you can live
right, girl. You can do generic brand,
and some people just
can do food stamp brand.
You can get the
like back in the day. I don't know if your family had food stamps, but back in the day when you had to get the brand that the food stamps permitted, it had a little family holding a little child.
Yeah, I know that.
And you could only get those brands.
Yeah.
And that's what I grew up on, so that's what I know.
We never had food stamps. Luckily,
we only got it like 1 year. Apparently, my mom made too much.
No, my dad made too much.
Single mom made too much.
Mom made too much for 3 kids.
No,
like,
fully.
I can't believe
had 2 jobs. Yeah, okay.
My dad made too much, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom with 2 little kids and a teenage boy. So
literally, it's stupid.
And then trying to get a son through college while having 2 little girls, but we still made too much money.
But that was just like the struggle that we lived at that time. And then once I got into college and I had my own job, or not even college, in high school, like I would go to work and I'd come home and I expect like food on the table, and my mom would be like, oh no, like figure it out. And that's not like that's no shade, it's just how it was. Like, girl, if you're gonna be out until 12 a.m., you better feed yourself. Like, dinner was already made, or we figured it out. Fridge. Right. Look, so if you gotta have a little cheesesteak for dinner, girl, that's what the fuck you had.
And like Sundays, especially Sundays, my mom was like, I'm not cooking 8 popcorns for dinner. Like, I get that too. Like, as a kid, I feel like it's so easy to complain about things and be like, oh,
so easy.
But like,
and then when you're
as an adult, I'm like, no, I don't want. I
sense.
make dinner like twice a week now, and then I'll just like heat up something really fast.
Right. I live for a leftover. Mm-hmm. I love a good leftover.
I'm going out to eat once a week. Oh, I'm about to have a half a wrap the rest, like, for a different day or whatever.
Because that's just how it is. Like, that's how you have to, that's how you do that.
And just, like, as someone who doesn't have a lot of money, like, obviously, eat, like, and it sucks that, like, going to McDonald's and getting, like, the $3 bundle is less expensive than going and cooking a meal that's healthy for you.
And that's what you have to, like, once you're grown, you have to escape that, is knowing that, like, yes, I could go to McDonald's and get what I want to eat for less than it would be for what I want to cook for dinner, and just going to the grocery store instead.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just
food is just like a heavy subject, just because, like,
if you come from the rough, girl, then you just have a different perspective.
Not even the rough. I just feel like the middle class in general.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never claim to, like, come from, like, super poor, but, like, we didn't have any, real. We never had any extra money, like, as...
No, you're right.
Especially as kids.
I never was, like, my mom fucking hustled as a single mom. She hustled to make sure that we had food on the table. There was not a single night that I can remember where we were just like, nothing
my dad's always worked super hard, and, like, I'm very grateful that my mom was able to stay home and, like, be with my sister and I when we were kids. But, like, it's just frustrating that some people don't understand that, like, food is not... Food is a comfort item, especially, like, when you're stressed. And I feel like a lot of people, middle class, lower class, kind of depend on food for comfort. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of, like, upper class people get that. The people that have, like, access to a bunch of, like, healthy foods and, like,
some of us didn't get shrimp and fucking lobster legs.
My family, I came from a family with unhealthy eating habits.
Definitely.
And, like, both my parents...
Because that's what's the most affordable.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, my parents were both, like, pretty skinny.
Yeah. Like,
my mom was always like, I was 100 pounds when I got married. And I'm like, oh. And then when I was in 4th grade and 100 pounds, I'd be like, ooh. Because...
So I'm supposed to get married now?
Yeah, what? I guess I'm married. Like, come on. But, like, that kind of... I think that they didn't understand how to eat either. And then once they stopped, their metabolism slowed down, they just, like, continued their eating habits. Yeah. And that passed down to my sister and I, so we both had an unhealthy relationship with food. And I think, I can't speak on my sister, but I didn't notice that. I never thought anything negative about my body until someone else made a comment on it. Yeah. And then once those comments started coming in, I started having a terrible relationship with food. And then that idea got stuck on my head. Like, I remember in 7th grade, I was like, I'm going to be on a diet. I'm going to lose a bunch of weight. Like, I remember telling people that before summer, between 7th and 8th grade.
Which is so wild to think about when you're in high school.
As I'm a 12, 13-year-old, talking to a bunch of other kids, being like, I'm going to go on a diet. You're 12 or 13. Like...
What a diet mean to you, you know?
No, and I was just like, I don't even know what I was thinking. Yeah. But then I came back and I was heavier. So that, like, I was like, oh, dang it. Like, that whole summer was wasted. Right. But then, like, I was constantly thinking about my body and what I was eating. And then, like, unfortunately, like, my junior year of high school was really not good for me. Just because I had all these ideas of what I should be eating. And, like, at that time, I was just like, oh, I do like vegetables. My parents never forced me to eat them because they were like, I'm not going to fight you on it, which is super valid. I get it. I'm not going to fight a 5-year-old on what to eat. I am not going to do that. But I think that just really set in, and I was like looking around and comparing my body and comparing my eating habits to other people and being like, oh, I eat the same amount as this person, but they're skinnier than me. Or like, oh, this person eats strictly this, and this. Mm-hmm. I should try to eat this, and this. Right. So I was, like, at the point where I would eat, like, at lunch, like, half a sandwich and then pretend I was full the rest of the day. And I did get skinny, but, like, that, it's not healthy. Right. And that's all my mind would think about. And I told my mom that, probably, like, last year, and I was like, I think about food all day, every day, because, 1, I love to eat. I'm a foodie. Mm-hmm. But 2, I'm just constantly thinking, how many calories are in this? How much, what else can I eat today so I don't go over my limit? Like, stupid stuff.
And, for me, I went to a private school, so it was that times 10 as well, because people just didn't have the same eating habits as me. Like, we would go to lunch and we would eat the same things, obviously, but, you know, people would go home and they'd fucking eat.
Especially with private schools. Yeah. You know? Private school kids would, like, I know they have a lot of money. Yeah. And, like...
No, it was hard, but...
It's just, even now, it's, like, a sensitive, like, a battle in my mind. It's like, this person is working out, but I'm also working out, and they're eating this many calories a day, but I'm only eating this many calories a day, and they still weigh less than me. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just I hate that my brain is wired like that. Yeah. But one day it's not going to be, and I'm doing better.
Yeah. Maybe we should have a little trigger warning.
No, I was thinking that.
For, like, eating habits, that type of vibe. But I guess to, like, switch it up so that we're just not talking about bitch, we love food. But to not, to switch it up to not talk about food. Riley, like, how were you, like, who were you, like, in high school? Like, think about, like, freshman year of high school, Riley. How did she feel?
Okay, freshman year, the summer before my freshman year, I started talking to someone that was going to be a senior.
Oh.
So I was that girl.
You were one of those.
So I was about to be a freshman. I was talking to this almost senior guy, and it just unfortunately ruined the first half of my high school for me.
A lot of people are like that. A lot more people than you'd think.
Yeah, it just is super, like, thinking about it now, I'm just like, I wish I could go back and, like, shake myself and be like, but, like, I was best friends with two of the girls I went to elementary school with. And, like, one of the girls I had been best friends with since first grade. And then we were best friends in middle school and high school. I love her to death still to this day. We just don't talk that much anymore. And another girl I was friends with in elementary, and the two girls I met in high school, or middle school. But going into freshman year, I was talking to this guy who happened to be a senior, and he was just awful. Mm-hmm. He would just... That's a whole other conversation to talk about, to the extent what that man would do to me.
We need to have, like... I feel like we should have an episode just on, like, relationships.
Yeah. Like... Oh, we should, like, write down every relationship. Like, next week, we're talking about relationships.
Yeah. Mine not as long as yours, but I have had some situationships that...
Yeah, and those are valid as well.
Yeah.
So this man just was not nice to me.
Yeah.
And I let him treat me super poorly because I was wanting to be loved so terribly. Mm-hmm. And that, unfortunately...
And you think that's, like, what you want, what you need as, like, a freshman, even in high school.
I was like, oh, I have a boyfriend, like,
oh, he
loves me. He told me he loves me, like, blah, blah, blah. But he really just, like, would just be, like, break up with me, start dating me again. Like, emotionally, physically abuse me. And then I'd just be like, yeah. Whatever. And it would just continue on because I wanted to be loved so desperately. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I was so brainwashed by him. So, unfortunately, that took up my first 2 years of high school. Being obsessed with a man who was abusive.
Yeah. Fuck that man.
But, like, the whole relationship
Fuck that man.
I could talk for hours about how I feel about relationships.
I know. Relationships, that's
next week.
Y'all are gonna have to get that tea next week.
That's next week.
Really? No, yeah, good. Yeah.
But, like, what did you do your first year of high school? Like, what was
my first year, I was just a little acne fucking ridden little teen. I had a lot of insecurity about not necessarily being feminine, but having a lot of girl friends freshman year and beyond. And I think that weighed on me a lot freshman and sophomore year. Yeah. I was constantly just thinking, like, oh no, I'm at lunch, I'm sitting with all these girls, like, what are the guys gonna think of me? Like, all the guys are sitting together. And it was definitely hard. And on one hand, I didn't care. On one hand, I was just like, I'm gonna do what I want, like, whatever. But on the other hand, I was just constantly thinking about how I was being perceived by these guys in my class.
Yeah.
But I just kept pushing. I was just like, whatever. Like, girl.
And I bet at a private school it was hard because I feel like all the private kids have, like, at least in my brain, coming from a public school, it's like, there's, like, this stigma, especially with private school kids, that, like, everyone has to act the same way.
And if you don't... exactly how it is.
If you don't act that way, then you're, like, an outsider.
You're wearing a damn uniform, like...
Yeah.
Like, there were things that were obviously, like, more, you know, okay, and I won't say that, like, my school was the most, like... like, they didn't play into the stigmas the most out of some other schools in my city, but, like, it was definitely hard at times, if not, like, publicly, then just, like, personally, than dealing with it, like, in my own head.
Yeah.
And so, the first 2 years, I was dealing with that, like, heavily. I was in theater, and so obviously, girl, if you're in theater, then you know what the fuck is up. Like, you know. Girl, if you're a guy in theater, then you know what the fuck is up. And back then, I was like, I wasn't even gay. I wasn't even gay back then. But just, like, it was just a lot.
It was just,
It was dealing with, like, people who, like, the majority of the guys in my class were in football and basketball. And I just was not that girl.
And, like trying to fit into those expectations as well. Right. Like.
And nobody, I am blessed to say that nobody was really coming at me for, you know, not being a part of those things or not being in those groups. But I always felt like it was an underlying, like, thing I had to deal with.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
So.
Because even, like, as a choir kid, I felt like not the odd man out and not, like.
But it just wasn't the norm.
But I was just like, oh, all these girls are, like, doing cheerleading and this and that. And I wasn't. It's not that I don't know.
It's hard. Like, I would come, I would come to lunch, like, after choir and be like, oh no, like, I'm sitting with all these girls, like, all the guys are sitting together, like, they're gonna talk about me, all this stuff. And I say this all the time, but if I had half of the amount of balls that I do now, I could have, like, taken that damn school to the ground. Like, it wouldn't even have been a thing because I don't think about it anymore. But.
And it would just, like, I just remember kids in high school, it wasn't super bad. Like, I'm really grateful. It wasn't, like, a super bad experience, but I remember people being like, oh, being in choir is weird, being in choir is gay. And I'm just like, that's so stupid to say that.
Exactly.
Because, first of all, like, a lot of the choir kids were not stupid kids.
Right.
They were kids that were extremely intelligent. Like, a lot of people who are involved in music go on to be great people and do great things. Secondly, the whole gay comment, I feel like, is so overused. There'd be, like, 2 gay kids in the choir department, and that label would be put on the entire...
Right. And that's how it was for my school, and it was just for the whole school. Like, I did not come out in high school, and if I could go back in time, I still wouldn't. But the people that came out as gay, who were known as gay in my school, were known as, like, the gay kids.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't have any other personality.
Right, like, that. They came to school, they were completely themselves, and they walked in the building, and they were like, oh, that's gay Alex.
Yeah, and it'd be like, oh, you know, Michael, whatever, he's gay. And, like, that would be, like, the only thing to describe them by. And I bet that's, like, super hard to overcome, and, like, I understand why that's so struggling to be able to come out, especially in high school.
It was so...
When that is just, like, a major word people will describe, instead of being like, oh, this is Michael who's in this class, or, like, who does this. It's just Michael who's gay.
I'm, like, blessed to have friends, like... Because at that time, I really did not think I was gay. I liked girls. I dated girls. You know, like, I did the damn thing. But I was just like, you know what? Like, that's not me. And my friends always stuck up for me. They were always like, he says he's straight, so he's straight.
Yeah.
And people were just like, oh, okay. And, you know, freshman year was hard. Sophomore year, I kind of grew into my confidence a little bit. Not my gay confidence, just confidence in general.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was on, like, homecoming court and that kind of stuff.
I feel like sophomore year is big.
Yeah, people were still like, oh,
mean,
he's gay, like...
And trying to stereotype
that kind of thing.
you.
And so many people are just like, even to this day, were like, oh, I knew back then. I was like, no, you can say that. You can say that, but girl, but I didn't even know back then. So how the fuck did you know?
I mean, like, I just feel like that's invalidating to people.
It's so like, invalidating.
I knew. Like,
if you, like, podcast listeners, like, if you ever meet someone who comes out to you, never, ever, ever say, oh, I always knew.
Or I figured, or I thought so.
You might think that that's a compliment.
Or I'm glad you finally figured it out and, like, told me, like, shut up.
You might be saying that from, like, the bottom of your heart, like, that is the compliment that you are giving. But it's just not, because as someone who is gay and who spent so many years unknowingly, like, convincing people that they weren't, to hear that, like, oh, you always knew, oh, you always thought that anyway, is very invalidating.
Yeah, I bet.
So, though my coming out experience wasn't until college. Sophomore year was when I started to gain a little confidence in my
And
who I
personality.
was, be that feminine, you know. And
I feel like sophomore year is pretty big.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's when, well, I was going to say, like, I feel like that's when I started gaining gaining respect for myself.
It was just the fact that, like, I wasn't a freshman.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had a little bit more under
like,
my
I knew
belt.
what was going on.
Like,
I wasn't confused.
Like, yeah.
But also, like, the confidence and self-respect thing, I don't think that I gained that until this year. It's my senior year of college.
Fully, 100%.
I was, because...
Even having now, I've been gay since, like, literally freshman year of college, but there's so many things that I feel like I've only just learned now that I was ignorant to before.
Agreed.
That I can be like, yeah, this is what this means, this is how I feel. There's so many things where I feel like I've only just now gained the words to be able to talk about it. Yeah. That I didn't have in high school, especially going to a private school.
Oh, I can't imagine going to private school and, like, being surrounded by people who are...
And like I said, like, knowing everything that I do now, I still would not have come out in high school. I had girlfriends. Shout out Lainey. She was my off and on girlfriend for, like, 2 years. And those relationships were never negated now knowing that I'm gay. I genuinely loved those people, liked those people.
Yeah.
Those were not, like, beards or whatever the fuck the bitches say now.
No, at the time you loved them.
Right.
And that's your own experience.
Now, like, it's just, that's how my cards turned.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just, like, now, like, thinking of how I let people treat me then, and I honestly think up until, like, sophomore year, I think I had a realization, like, oh, I probably shouldn't.
Definitely. There's a level of maturity that happens.
I think it just clicked for me, like, specifically this year. I was like, why am I continuously letting these people hurt my feelings? Like, either one, don't take it so personally, or two, don't have contact with these people that are hurting you, or, like, why am I letting, like, I have always let men walk all over me. I've let them, because I am a lover. I want to be loved. I want to love everyone. Like, I'd love to love.
Yeah.
I just this year, I was like, no. Mm-hmm. You love to love, but, like, you can put your love into your friendships. You don't have to, like, make excuses for someone to treat you like shit.
It's
like,
so hard to realize that in high school, to realize, like, you can love, you know, your boyfriend, like, girls, high school, whatever. You're going to do what the fuck you're going to do. But you have to remember the people that aren't your boyfriend.
Yeah.
The people that are there to support you, knowing that, like, maybe it won't last, but I'm still here for you as a friend.
It's, like, a mixture of, like, our friend Ashley, we were talking about relationships with her the other day, and she was like, you have to realize that, like, yes, your boyfriend is an important relationship, but your friendships are also an important relationship, so it kind of has to be balanced. Like, obviously, you're probably going to spend more time with your partner or whoever, and you're going to have more of an extreme, like, romantic love for them. That doesn't mean you love your friends any less, and that doesn't mean the type of love is different.
And it's hard to realize that in the moment, especially in high school, to know that, like, yes, I'm giving all this love to this person, but maybe I need to give a little more love to, like, my friends and stuff.
Yeah, because there's some people that, like, are so bad. Like, I have friends that, like, will get a boyfriend. I won't hear from them.
Right.
Unless I'm reaching out to them consistently. And that's, it's so easy to do that. And I am not the best at that either.
Yeah.
But, like, there's some people that, like, will completely cut off all their friends, and I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. And in general, like, the respect level, like, maturity, even in friendships and, like, boyfriend relationships, I think this year I have really, if someone's not respecting me the way that I think that I should be respected, I don't have time for them. And I have never stood up for myself with a man up until, like, recently with Mr. McChicken.
Yeah.
I've always just let men do whatever they want and like kind of let them get away with things because I thought I was like maybe they'll love me if I don't freak out. But no, it's not freaking out. It's me standing up for myself and being like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a fine line. Like you think that you respect yourself, but like once you get in that situation. And you're like, oh, maybe I don't. But then one day it just clicks. And it finally clicked for me. And I think I see the world in a different point of view now.
Do you feel like some of that click happened in, like, your junior and senior year of college? Do you feel like there was a switch between, you know, your first half and your second half of high school, I should say? That, you know...
I feel like it clicked a little bit in high school. Especially after my first, like, that was my first, like, real relationship that I had with that man that in high school that didn't treat me super well.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of clicked, but then I also had relationships after that where I would let a man treat me terribly, and I would make excuses. I'd be like, oh, it's fine, and I would, like, not necessarily make excuses to people, but in my head, I'd be like, oh, they're doing this because of this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't think it really set in until this year.
Yeah.
Just because
sometimes it takes so long to actually realize that those things.
And I knew that these men weren't treating me right.
Yeah.
I knew it, but I don't think even friendships. I knew these friends were being nice to me, and I knew that this is not a friendship that I wanted for life, because I didn't want to be treated like that. But I don't think I started speaking up for myself up until like a few months ago, and I finally did that. And now I'm like, I've been talking to my friends, and they're like, yeah, like, we've been waiting for you to do something like that because that's what you've needed. Like, it's not fair. I'm like, no, it's... I don't think that my brain processed that I was worthy enough. I guess.
No, that's
and I think that's something that, like, you gain with age and, like, just being old. Yeah. You just don't... It's one, you don't have the time to deal with everybody.
No, especially, like, sophomore and freshman and sophomore year of high school, like, you don't have that, like, mental capacity to be able to be like, no, that was bad. You know? Like, exactly. You're just trying to fucking deal with high school. Because, like, to move on to junior and senior year, I definitely had, like, a mental switch where I was just like, here's all the things I want to do. I only have 2 years to do it. My goal was never to, like, come out or anything, because that wasn't on my radar then. But I still wanted to, like, experience everything and just live everything to the fullest, not as if I came out, but, like, with the freedom of something of that nature, you know? To just feel like I am doing everything that I'm supposed to do. I want to graduate and be able to say that I did everything that I felt like I was going to do. And that's when I started, like, drinking. Not to say that drinking, like, you know, gave me the confidence, but, like, you know, I just did everything that I wanted to do starting junior year.
I feel like I also kind of had an experience, like, sort of like that. I kind of switched friend groups. Like, I'm still friends, and I still was friends with those, because up until junior year, I was best friends with the people I was best friends with during first grade. Yeah. And then it hit, and then I, like, kind of branched out a little bit, and I was in a different choir, and I was with people that I, like, didn't know necessarily, and I feel like that was a pivotal part in my life because it made me make friends and talk to people that I normally wouldn't have, and, like, branch out a little bit. And I think that's where I met my best friends to this day because of that decision that I made between sophomore and junior year of high school. Right. Like, Sydney's my best friend to this day. Haley's my best friend. Cameron's they're my best friends to this day. And I don't think that I would have met them and, like, had a close relationship if I didn't have that switch go off. Aging is super weird, and you don't realize it's happening until after it's happened. Definitely. And you're like, oh, that's what that was me maturing.
Fuck, I'm old now.
That was me deciding, like, oh, I need to do this for myself.
Yeah.
it's just super, like, I think, I look back and I think that I'm such a different person, like, well, I was such a different person from, like, freshman, sophomore year to junior, senior year of high school. But then I look to now, and I'm just like, I can't believe that me then is me now. Like, we're the same person.
Right.
Just because, one, my beliefs in general, I've been able to form my own beliefs and not just believe what my parents believe. Because I feel like that was a thing up until my senior year. Hey, we're going to do a little pause. Little pause. Hey. Guess what? So last time I was home, I got the Mario Badescu spray at TJ Maxx or Marshalls or whatever. Mm-hmm. We went to the next store, we found Evian spray, and I couldn't find it, so I was like, oh, my mom's saving it for my Easter basket. Just found it.
Come on, Evian.
Oh.
To update the viewers, I went into the bathroom. I threw up. I know, so bad. But then, while I was throwing up, my nose started bleeding.
No way.
No, literally double homicide.
I heard you giggling in there.
Well, because Carter and Meredith called me.
Oh.
And they were on the
Hey, Carter.
And I was like, hey, do you guys like...
Are they together? Right now? No, are they, like, on the... like, with each
on
other
the
right
phone,
now? Oh.
But not together.
Oh.
But I was just like, hey, do you want me to, like, call you when I'm, like, done dealing with this? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. Like, yeah.
Put him on the pod right now.
Come on the pod.
Call him up and put him on the pod.
Just call Taylor up. How
would you
Did you have good alone time with the pod?
For a second. I was just wandering around, and then I was like, Carter should be on the next week's episode when we talk about relationships.
Yeah.
Carter's next week. He's our first guest.
He be good.
He deserves first guest.
Yeah.
Type. And then I talked to him about the Evian spray.
He come next Tuesday.
Yeah. And then I talked a little bit about me not respecting myself, I think.
Yeah.
But, I was talking about the jump from high school to, or freshman, sophomore to junior, senior.
What time are we at?
I don't know.
1:10.
Let's move on to the next topic. Carter, cut this out.
Close her out.
This is the end of the topic about that.
So yeah, like high school was rough.
High school was rough. But
you just have to learn. You learn how to deal with it, I think. Depending on your situation, you learn,
And high school, and high school is definitely not the best time in your life. I kind of peaked.
Me too.
But
we low-key peaked. Just kidding. But
I look back and
I think
my peak is right now.
Yeah, my peak is right now. I'm on top of the world. Yeah. Just know that, no matter what you're feeling, high school isn't forever. If you think that this is your best days, girl, grow up. If you think that these are the worst days in your life, girl, it'll get better.
It gets better. It gets worse. It gets worse and better.
Not if you think it's your worst days.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
So some bitches, they peaked in high school.
I lived
some
for
bitches,
senior year.
Yeah. And some bitches was like, I'm having a good time. It'll be better later. And that's okay. Just know that, where you are now is not where you are forever.
And also, it doesn't define you. Like, me, senior year was not the same as who I am today. As senior year in college, especially.
Yeah. Me, freshman year of college. We'll do a whole separate pod on,
college experience.
Yeah.
But, as a senior in college, looking back, one thing that I do regret is, not enjoying the time and, constantly looking towards the future.
Right.
Because I think I spent a lot
Because college will happen if that's what's in your plan. But,
I think
enjoy what's there right now.
I think a lot of high school and a lot of college, I can't wait till what's next. And now I'm at the what's next point, and I'm like, oh.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond, when you're in college, what's next?
And I'm having a hard time of letting go right now.
Definitely.
if you don't know, Chandler and I are both in a cappella.
Yeah.
Here at college. We're in different groups, but in the same organization. I'm the coordinator of my group, so I've kind of been in charge of performances and like the people and scheduling and all that kind of stuff.
And I'm like PR for my group, so I deal with social media and planning events and stuff like that.
So I've been in this position for 2 years now, and like we're doing elections for next year, and when we were doing nominations for people, I just like it clicked. I'm gonna have a hard time letting go, and I talked to Chandler a little bit about this earlier. I like to be in control. That's the Virgo in me. I like to plan everything. I like to be the one that knows everything. I don't think I knew that I was going to have this hard of time letting go and, like, letting somebody else take over.
Right.
And, like, be the one that's going to have to make the decisions. Be the one that's going to have to tell the group this and that and, like, plan for this show. I've been very excited recently because I'm, like, tired and I've wanted help and I haven't had help and it's just exhausting sometimes. But I love it. And I've just been like, oh, I'm really going to miss this. And I think that, like, letting somebody else take over is going to be actually hard for me.
Yeah. It's just hard. Seniors in college, about to deal with life, but not wanting to let go of, like, what, college had.
Oh, it's, like, gross to me.
No, it's gross.
Like, fully adults. I don't know. It's just the whole letting go aspect of, like, who you were. Like, it's not your...
Not who you were, but just, like a big part of you.
In a way, it's, like, who I think that for so long I've, like, sophomore year of high school, I grew into this person who did show choir, and I did that sophomore through senior year, and then, like, I came here, didn't know what was going on, joined sophomore through senior year, I was in a cappella.
Yeah.
And I've been a leader, and I just feel like that's a huge part of who I am, and I enjoy it, and I love it. And now that that's, like, almost done, I'm just having an internal panic attack.
Yeah. It's a lot, but we'll get through it, Bessie. We're almost done.
Just the whole letting go aspect, I think, is going to be difficult, but I'll obviously get through it.
Yeah. And we'll do a whole separate...
thing about letting go and like we're gonna do a whole
we're in our last month, so we'll have to do a little
I'm down to like I love
Hannah Montana
these to be honest. Recording these is like really fun to me. Next week we're gonna have our best friend Carter on. He's our third half.
Sure he is.
We're going to talk about relationships next week and probably go into, like, what we all feel, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it'll be a lot.
And then we'll have an episode about acapella. We'll probably have, like, we'll figure out a couple people.
We'll probably start doing, like, little double weeks.
I'm down for.
Figure out some guests to bring on.
Like, but then they'll still obviously be us, and we'll try to figure out how to do that. But then we also... like, don't want to bore you guys with just us. Yeah. But there'll be people from acapella. We can ask them a few questions, see what's up.
Yeah. It'll be lit.
Yeah, but I'm really excited for the future of this podcast because I think we've been wanting to do it for so long, and I think I talked about this last podcast. We've been wanting to do it, and we've been like, we'll do it. But then we sat down and did it, and now it's fun. And I'm having a good time. Yeah. But so now we're just trying to do as much as we can before we go our separate ways.
100%.
Anyway, I'll see you.
We'll see y'all next week.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
This was Morning Giggle.
Ooh, we ate.